Let me ask you something honestly. Has your home felt slightly different these past days due to more reminders for your children, more silence, more irritation, more tension around the small things? If you are parenting a preteen or a teen, March can quietly become one of the most craziest months of the year because exam season is not just about marks. For many teenagers, exams don't just start with the test preparation, they test their self worth as well. They begin to wonder, am I smart enough? What if I disappoint my parents? What if my peers or everyone else in the classroom does better than me? And here is what most parents don't realize, my dear friends. When stress increases, the teenage brain shifts into survival mode. So, what looks like an attitude, laziness, carelessness is often the anxiety in disguise. And during this season, the way we respond as parents can either protect our child's confidence or destroy it completely. Welcome back to Simplified Parenting with Suhasini. And I'm Suhasini, your host, a certified parenting and kids life coach, teen psychology expert. Every week, I help parents navigate real life emotional challenges with clarity, science, and compassion. In this March, we are focusing on one important theme: how to protect our teens' emotional health during high pressure season. Let's begin with exam stress. Adolescence is already a phase where emotional regulation systems are still developing. The amygdala, the emotional center of the brain, becomes highly reactive under stress. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning, impulse control, rational thinking, becomes less efficient when cortisol levels rise. So, during exam season, concentration reduces, working memory drops, emotional reactions increase, and motivation starts fluctuating, which means your teen is trying, but their brain is under overload. That is why you see them snapping when asked simple questions, avoiding study discussions, excessive scrolling during breaks, sudden quietness, or procrastination. All these symptoms are not defiance, they indicate to you the cognitive overload which your teen is suffering actually. Most teens will not openly say that I am not good enough. Will you feel ashamed of me if I get less marks? What if these exam results decide my future and it's going to be bad? And when the identity feels threatened, confidence becomes fragile. So now let us talk about the common parenting reactions which actually hurt the confidence of your child. Let's talk honestly here. How many people of us are guilty of over monitoring by providing constant reminders, frequent checking? Though our intention is care and concern here, but the message which your teen receives is that I don't trust you. When the perceived trust drops in the child eyes, their anxiety rises, and the anxiety reduces the performance clarity. And most of us keep telling for the good of their child, thinking that if we tell like this, our child will listen better, saying like, if you don't score well in this exam, your future will not be good. If your future is sealed, your future is ruined, kind of stuff, right? The the teen's brain actually reaches threat mode, reduces learning efficiency, performance improves only in psychological safety, not because you are inducing the emotional fear in them. Even the subtle comparison, saying like your friend is doing better or your cousin seems to be confident, is interpreted by your teenager brain, saying that it's going to be social rejection for me, both from my parents as well as my peers. This social pain activates similar neural pathways as physical pain. So, what feels like you're trying to motivate your child might actually be injure hurt them by inculcating a lot of anxiety in them. Let me share an example from my one of my earlier coaching conversations where a mother told me that her son used to study well, but during board exams he becomes always irritable. Every time when she asks him about the revision, he will start snapping and he stops studying and he starts scrolling a lot. So the mom, in panic, picked up her phone and started calling me, asking me, what should I do now? My son is not preparing well for the exams. It's already February. Then I told her to stop sitting next to her child and stop nagging her child and Ask him in a more collaborative way, saying instead of asking like, "Have you revised this chapter? How are you feeling about tomorrow's paper? Or what is your plan for today?" When she started asking like more collaborative manner, and we started having more conversations with her child opened to her, saying, "When you sit next to me, I feel like I'm totally incapable. I'm not a 10th grader, but I'm a first or second grader where you have to teach me how to write, how to read." That actually opened her eyes and changed her perspective completely. And within a week, the irritability in the child reduced, and the child became more and more self-disciplined and started reading on his own. Sometimes the confidence is not about having more strict deadlines and more strategies. It's about how you're giving that emotional safety or emotional climate to your child, which improves their confidence. So I request you all to basically do some emotional shifts with your child, and the way you have your conversation needs to be slightly shifted. If your teen is feeling overwhelmed, like then don't start shout at him, and don't start shouting at him, don't start nagging him. Instead of sit that you just sit beside them, give them the time to regulate. I also actually had given an energy meter tool to different parents who are there in my parenting community, who use it very effectively to understand the energy of their child before studying, whether if it's high, low, medium, and then what needs to be done. So the first thing is, when they feel overwhelmed, tense, and anxious, you need to just sit with them, calm them down through their by playing their favorite music or talking to them without lecturing them. When your teen starts feeling calm, then their brain will come out of the survival mode, and then it starts thinking in the logical way. And when your teen starts studying, it will be more effective. And instead of focusing only on the marks, start acknowledging the consistency, the planning, the improvement which your child is showing day on day, and show them that intrinsic motivation shows effort, and recognition strengthens long-term resilience. We are raising emotionally strong individuals, not score producing machines or the robots who has to get 100 on 100 in every exam. So we need to start inculcating the intrinsic motivation in our child so that they can perform better, not only in this exam but in the future, throughout their life as well. The last one is to separate your child's identity from marks. At least once in this season, say clearly, no matter what happens in this exam, you are bigger than this result, and I definitely love you, and you are my child. This sentence protects your child's identity, and identity safety strengthens the performance, and they will not be worried about the outcome of the exam, but they'll prepare well for the exam, which will make them better the outcome in the long run. Your child may forget exam questions, but they'll remember how they felt in your presence during this exam season. Did they feel trusted? Did they feel safe? Did they feel supported? Exams are just temporary. Confidence is a long term. For example, I do remember my childhood when I was preparing for my board exams. My dad used to actually make it a point to come and drop me at the exam center, which is like just 2 kilometers away from my house, for which I can as well cycle and go. But my dad ensured that he's giving me that safety cushion, saying like, yes, my dad is also involved in my studies along with my mom, made me take the question paper into my hands with confidence, and I was able to score better. These are the small things which if you do, then definitely your child will remember all these things, because confidence is a long term word, isn't it? And if today's episode made you pause and rethink even one reaction at your house, I want you to stay with me throughout this March series, because next week we are going to dig deeper into something many parents are quietly worried about right now: why teens emotionally withdraw during stress, and how to reconnect without pushing them further away. So if you are listening on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube, take a moment right now and tap to follow so that you will not miss out my future episodes. Not just for information, but for steady guidance to your preteen and to teen throughout this season. Let's handle March gently and wisely. Take care and stay tuned. Bye bye. That's all from your host Suhasini for today.